Right now, we got the big boys.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, but I don't think anybody needs to even announce that. This one is purely from the visual perspective. This is a big boy making his way into the cage.
Mark Moses weighed in at 293 pounds.
Yeah, he did.
He's a very, very large man. Don't let his 0-2 record fool you.
Yep.
He's a game guy. He loves to fight. He loves to throw bombs. The question with him has been conditioning. His first fight, he was coming off of COVID.
Yep. He came in with flip-flops. That's a new one.
He was coming off of COVID, so, he had some complications from that. He had to finish that fight early, but, his conditioning, hasn't really been tested. He hasn't made it 3 rounds, where Josh DePace has been pushed to 3 rounds his last few fights against Lombardo, against Pastor. His gas tank has been tested. He's had some opportunities for improvement highlighted in those fights, but his cardio has lasted, and I think that's going to be one of the major differences.
So what do you think the key to this one is for either guy in order to come out with a victory?
I think, for Moses, he's got to land a big shot. He's got to land a big shot and capitalize on it. For DePace, he's got to just, he's got to wait out that first 90 seconds. DePace is very comfortable with his defensive boxing. He's comfortable using his hands. He's not a big kicker, but he's very comfortable, and he likes to fight. So really it's going to be, can he outlast any potential swarm that Moses puts on, and then can he impose his hands?
I am not a betting man this evening, but this to me has all of the makings of under 1.5 rounds.
I would be surprised if it goes the full 3. Yes, absolutely. Now Josh DePace coming out of 99-1 Jiu-Jitsu in Kingston, and Mr. Mark Moses coming out of Omni Fist Fight Club. I think that's more of an informal kind of a group that trains.
Is that a nice way of saying?
Well, no, sometimes these rogue groups pop up, and there are skilled folks that train in them, but they're not necessarily affiliated with a formal school. Where Josh DePace is at a school where Devin Olin, a Cage Wars veteran, competes. They've got structured programs, jiu-jitsu programs, and structured training partners. So I really think there's something to be said for coming from that environment in preparation for something like this.
Well, it sounds like DePace is a little bit more well-rounded. Is Moses strictly the striker in this situation and in this contest?
I've not seen him do much grappling. It seems to be more hands. He competed in street beefs a while back. That was pretty much all hands. I think his path to victory is a big shot. It's a big overhand right, and it's a flash finish.
I can almost see him going a little Brock Lesnar too if he has the opportunity, don't you?
Could be, or Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, a little Bam Bam Bigelow, a little linebacker style.
We're going to bring it up to Mike Falvey.
I can't wait.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our following contest in our heavyweight division, scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in yesterday at 294 pounds. He is out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Steel City Madman, Mark Moses. His opponent fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in yesterday at 274 pounds even. Representing 99-1 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu out of Kingston, New York, the Smiley Assassin, Josh DePace. And the man in charge of the action when the door closes, Mr. Laszlo Huve.
Made the trip all the way from Pittsburgh, Moses did, for this one here.
The intensity on Moses' face tells it all. He's ready.
Well, I'm excited.
Here we go, running across.
That's exactly what I thought he would do.
Wow. Looking for the grapple. All right, taking us by surprise here.
Oh, my goodness. He is
a
tank.
Lifted DePace up over the head. That was a lot of beef. Now, let's see what DePace can do. Last thing he wants to do is be on his back. Now, if you notice, Moses trying to take a play out of Cloudhammer's book with the forearm in the throat.
Now, this is different because we can ground and pound and we can hit to the face now. So this is all bets are off, and we're in full-on combat right now, which I really do think is really going to benefit Moses here.
100%, but he's awful high on DePace, high on his body. So that's going to give DePace some opportunity to create some distance if he gets to a hip. But Moses doing a good job keeping some pressure down on DePace.
And he is just a large man, and I just think laying on him makes it obviously very difficult for DePace.
Looking to transition to Mount. Mark Moses and Mount. Oh, DePace rolls. Nice job.
That is a great job.
DePace making him pay for it now. You know, and if there's been any question with Mark, it's been when he's not in the driver's seat, you know, what's his mental fortitude in that situation. So I think this is a great opportunity for him to prove some folks wrong.
Well, he's driving now, that's for sure. Halfway through the first round.
But again, you know what? I mean, the judges are seeing that big slam. You know, I mean, right now the grappling still favors Moses if you're a judge. Oh, nice knees by DePace to the body.
Yeah, DePace just looks like he's warming up right now. Moses appears to be slowing down just a little bit.
Well, you know, when you run across cage and get amped up like that, there's bound to be a slight adrenaline dump. Good job turning the corner by Moses, though. Moses is showing us something here tonight, Brian.
Well, he sure is. And DePace needs to be careful not to hit in the back of the head, too.
Laszlo Huve right on top of that. But again, you got to do something. You know, you got to try to get to a hip. You got to throw some strikes. Make them react to you.
Well, this is not good for DePace here as we close out the first round. And like you said, you talked about what the judges may remember.
And right now they're remembering that Moses is on top in that big slam. You know, I mean, he's been controlling. He's got more control time in this.
Although he hasn't really landed anything while he's been in top position, and I think DePace did land a couple of shots, very even first round.
So even if you gave the striking to DePace, then it's going to go to that third category, that cage aggression and control, which is in Moses' favor at this point.
I would agree with that.
Final 30 seconds coming up, folks, the first round. The key is going to be who's going to be more tired in this second round. And right now I think Moses is going to have that advantage because, as you said, just being on top of him.
Yeah.
Wow, good job by DePace. He
tapped. He gave up the back, and then he tapped.
You know, and that's been my question is the conditioning. Sometimes things happen. I mean, I'm guessing because I didn't see anything that would have damaged him there.
Well, he is laying there, and is this just exhaustion, you think, Will?
Well, this happened before. Here's the replay. Let's see if something happens. So DePace pushing the arm across, and it looks like he just...
And I think it was that shot to the temple.
It looks like he just got tired, though.
Yeah.
But that shot wasn't necessarily enough to end that fight. I feel like, you know, the fatigue really started to set in there.
I'd have to see that again. But to me, and again, I'm not an expert. You've been in this game. The fact that it's taken him this long to stand doesn't seem
this
like
happened
exhaustion.
in his last fight, though. You know, and again, we could be wrong, but I'm not seeing anything on this replay. He's on top. He's in the dominant position. He got hit in the kind of in the back of the head a little bit, but again, it wasn't hard enough to stop it. And you know, usually they'll look to the ref before they tap.
Well, see, coming up is what I thought may have done to him because that shot right there.
I really just think he was tired. I could be wrong. I'd love to hear more from him. You know, but I think that expending that much energy in that first minute and rushing and trying to tackle him and lift that other large man over his head really took its toll as the round went on. Again, it looks like fatigue.
Yeah, it looks like oxygen there. Now he's taking that in. And credit to DePace because he did have to withstand the early attack from a very large man coming after him.
And he had to keep his composure on the bottom. You know, he did a nice job withstanding the swarm.
And he is taking that oxygen in deep right now, which is good.
I mean, what I would really like to see Mark Moses do is really get himself some training, get himself some consistent training, drop some weight, bring his cardio up. We know he's a game guy. He doesn't have any fear. There's no question about that.
And you know he is strong because we saw it within the first few seconds of this fight.
My back hurt watching him pick the pace
He
up.
picked him up over his head.
And slammed him. Not just picked him up and barely picked him up.
Boy, we've seen a lot here tonight, haven't we?
That was a lot of ATP used there. A lot of energy. Here we go with this replay again. You see again DePace on the bottom. Just kind of weather the storm.
At this point, then, he's probably thinking, I got nothing left. You're right. His body does go a little limp, even when he's on top. And once DePace turned him over, that was it. He had pretty much resigned to the fact.
You notice Moses' head kind of drops to the side. You know, he's not creating a lot of down pressure on DePace at this point.
Yeah, he is a finished man at this point, and this here was just window dressing. He couldn't take much more. But he only had about 10 seconds, and he could have survived the round.
And again, that's where the situational awareness will come in, and that's why you saw guys like Nash, Hill, and some of these other guys looking at the clock. clock. They know how long there's left in each round. Again, Moses just came in with such intensity that I don't think he had the ability to be that aware of the time left.
And why do you think fighters do that? Do you think sometimes if they feel like they can't match the skill level, they have to just overwhelm them with?
Well, I think that's kind of Mark's character. Mark kind of plays into, almost like a WWE character. He likes to cut promos. He likes to be intense, and I think that's part of his character is that intensity and that pressure. We're going to bring it up to Mike Falvo for the official announcement.
Referee Laszlo Huve called a stop to the fight at 2 minutes 50 seconds into round number 1 for your winner, by way of tap out due to strikes, Josh DePace.
Josh DePace looking no worse for the wear.